Today we're gonna put this Packard diff back together. It's all cleaned up with all the gasket surfaces all clean, ready to go. New bearings, as you'll probably see in this. Dude, if it wasn't for Vern hooking it up with the press, easy work. Using that slick press that Vern hooked it up with. Appreciate it, Vern. Do a quick little time lapse for whoever ends up rebuilding one of these. Maybe this will help you, maybe not. Maybe it's just interesting to watch this go back together. So real quick, I was very concerned about getting this washer that goes right here on the stock 19 diffs. You don't need that washer because this pinion support sets it exactly where it needs to be. I had to double check with Packard before I got too far into this. I want to put it back together and tear it back apart. So when you're putting this together, you got to make sure that this hole lines up with the hole on the bearing cap. If they're not lined up perfectly, this bearing won't get oil fed to it. Try to set that center as possible. And then when you set this on, everything's a pretty tight fit. That slides in nicely. Just take a light, double check that that hole lines up. Okay, so these aren't tight, they're just sitting here kind of loose, holding it in place. Need our O-ring from Packard, and that'll sit right here in this groove. So they did RTV the crap out of everything. It's 30 foot-pounds. So this is probably the wrong way to do all this, but this is the way it makes sense to me, so I'm gonna do it this way. It's 30 foot-pounds. Okay, we're gonna try to butt this O-ring up as tight as we can. Okay, so it looks like Packard siliconed the whole O-ring all the way around. We're just gonna go through, put a little light bead in there, and set the gasket and the O-ring. Point to smash this all together. Double check. So you got your shims down there. Gear goes in, sits on those shims. Now you gotta press the case halves together and then make sure your pinion lines up when you're pressing them together. There's two dowels also, so just make sure you're lining up on those. We're gonna go 15 foot-pounds. I'm gonna go to 30. Do the same thing here. People say this is overkill because it's just 30 foot-pounds, but we'll go 15 and 30. Bump it up to 30. The cheapo fork wrench. Here we go. Okay, that's all of them. Billet Diff is back together. She's all done. Sweating my buns off. It's 100 degrees in this garage. I'm not running the fan or music because I don't want to bore you guys with that stuff. I'm still waiting on my driveline. They're finishing it up and then I can start putting this all back together. Drop this off tomorrow at Packard. They're currently welding me a piece on for their drive shaft with the rubber isolator. That'll be slick. But as for now, the billet diff's back together. She spins good. She's ready to go.